Yeah, we
Okay.
do. Because my wife and I, we have a nonprofit organization called called Why I Count with a letter Y, and it's an organization that fights bullying.
Mm,
And so we go into schools and we share, uh, the message of the danger. We really focus rather not on bullying, but rather on building self worth.
building
And
software.
so it's a different approach. And out of this was born a song called "Awesome." I'm awesomely made, which in a way is scriptural.
Mm,
Wonderfully and fearfully made. And so we talked about what's residing in us, as children or any adults. Think about your eyes; they're able to record, to pick a million bit of information per second, sending it to your brain at 300 miles per hour. Now, there's no camera to give you an instant focus like your eyes, and
mm,
your lens in your eyes can move. I just found that out today, 100,000 times a day, and your blood pushes your heart pushes blood through 60,000 miles of blood vessels every day. So 60,000 miles is like going around the earth 2.5 times every day. So the complexity of the body is so amazing. And we know we have an approach that's very scientific. So that way, no one can debate it.
mm.
It's proven. And, and, um, and we're showing the kids, that what resides in us is so incredible that no matter what's happening outside of you, it has no power to affect the inside unless you allow it. Because through the program, we talk about the power of words. And,
Mhm.
because words, we know it has the power to destroy or to build. And so, but not only what you say to somebody else, what you keep saying to yourself, because we have that internal chatter that's going on all the time, right?
Yeah.
So what you say will have a ripple effect in your body because we know that we often become what we believe. But what's interesting is that we end up believing what we are told repeatedly and accept this truth. So it's important to visualize that. So I've done a lot of TV shows. Uh, there's a series called A Secret Hero. It's a series of 8 episode, and that one as a series. It's available. It's free. Actually, it's on our website, whyaccount.org. Spells with a Y.
Mhm.
And then we did also a show for younger girls that teenage girls that suffer from body dysmorphia
Mm.
and self harm. So just to spread, kindness and to show the power of kindness and how empathy, basically, how to walk in somebody else's shoes. And so different shows and Awesome is also about young kids being bullied and to show the power of words. And so there's a lot of twist in our story that
Mm.
actually make it fun for the audience and for the kids to relate to. So this is what and then My Shining Hour Story, the TV special, ended up winning as well. So these are the big wins so far.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
God has been gracious to us for sure.
what was the inspiration though to not just to address the subject, but you also created a foundation to address the subject. What was the inspiration behind that?
Well, a friend of mine sent me by email a letter, I think it was in 2015, of a young boy that committed suicide at the age of 14. And he left this letter behind, hoping that this letter would, change things. And so, and it brought me back to my childhood because I was bullied as a kid because as an artist, very introverted. And also, the one thing I didn't mention is our home was a foster home also for mentally challenged kids. Mom was
Mm.
taking care of those kids. So you can imagine the name calling in school.
Yeah.
And so I could relate to the bullying, but what I didn't understand is that in my days, we'd never hear of suicide due to bullying. At least I don't recall that.
Mm.
And
Mm.
and so what drives them to because now it's the leading cause of death among young children
Yeah. Unfortunately.
under 14, can you imagine that? Bullying is the leading cause of death. And so, and then the more I digged into it and understood a few different things that first of all, when I was a kid, home was generally a safe place for you,
Mm.
because your parents were there and, you felt protected. And today, well, parents are busier than they've ever been, and some parents are, with single parents as well. So there's more freedom to the kids in general, and they're more left on their own compared to when I was a kid. And to make matters worse, because the real enemy here is really cyberbullying,
Mm,
because you come home with your device, whether it's a tablet, whether it's a phone. So the bully follows you home.
yeah,
Because when I was a kid, if I get involved in a fight due to bullying, 2 to 3 girls, 2 to 3 boys, sorry, boys would know about it. You get in a fight with 2 or 3 boys, and so that was the end of it. But today, it's the whole school that knows about it. So the peer pressure for kids is tremendous because they don't know who saw what's been posted. It could be the whole school, it could be the whole neighborhood.
yeah,
So the peer pressure is tremendous, and the understanding that the frontal part of the brain of a young child or teenager is not fully formed. The part that's able to reason is not there.
yeah,
It's formed only by the age of 22, 23, 24. And so everything they feel is emotion. And so they can't reason yet because it's not formed yet. So they are fueled by emotions. And so they're unable to see that it'll get better, right? They're not
yeah,
able to see it. So if they don't have the parent, to support that and understand that. And it's hard for a kid to tell your parent that he's bullied. So parents have to look for signs.
yeah,
And so, when you go to your kid, say, what were you thinking? The chances are that he was not thinking, he was just feeling because that
mm,
part is not there. And so the series, The Secret Hero, is really designed for parents to give them signs. It's designed for kids as well, but it's also helping the parents to read the signs and to ask the proper questions.
yeah, definitely. And because I'm looking at the clock here, how you doing on time? We still good?
I, I'm enjoying our time.
Yeah. So
I feel like it's a fire hose of information from my end, but yeah, I'm enjoying talking about this because I love that you read the book. It really touches me that you took the time to do this, and uh, I hope I'm not talking too much. Just
no,
stop
no,
me if
no,
I.
no, no. This is great. So if you're okay with going a little bit over, I'm okay with it too.
I'm okay.
All right, excellent. Because I told you before we started recording that there were some things that resonated with me with your story and ultimately your foundation. And that's because yeah, I was bullied in high school too. So that's the this association though is here where it's a little awkward where yeah, I was bullied.